And we are back. We should be wrapping up. I imagine we should be wrapping up the game at this point.
So
So,
so my question is, so like let's say everybody took like 30, like took a step like 30 feet back. If Dolful tried to kill himself then, would it just like by laws of nature because of his power, like a meteorite would just come flying out of the sky and hit the knife out of his hand?
I guess so. I guess that's the implication.
Like, no, never.
Which, it's funny. That makes him, right? He's the ultimate lucky student. Like,
Yep.
literally, that's what his power is.
Yeah, but also there's tragedy that comes around.
But that
So
was the whole thing. That
yeah,
was the
like
whole thing with the ultimate luck, because that was the
yeah,
whole thing with Nagito, where it's like his ultimate luck also has like bad luck and good luck, includes bad
yeah,
luck and good luck. So like there
yeah.
were times where he like got into really terrible situations and his family died in like a plane accident or whatever, and he
Oh
miraculously
yeah.
survived. But then he would like win the lottery afterwards.
See, should tell Dolfo about Nagito.
They'd get along for sure,
Oh yeah.
for sure. Anyway.
So
um
let's see what's going
yeah, I
on.
was I didn't really want to. I would usually prefer to like leave it off at the end of a scene when we're gonna do that, but like I don't think the scene ends. Like I think it was the rest of the game at this point. So as far as I can tell. Okay. Gourmet freezes, knife in hand. The blade is pointed at her neck. Gourmet, are you seriously? Yes, I've made up my mind. He's too much of a menace to this world. Oh, because if she kills herself, it triggers the collars.
That's how
That
it
makes
works.
sense.
Okay.
Wish
Yeah.
I'd thought of that 5 minutes ago. Anyway, anyone who doesn't want to get caught in this, stand back. My death will detonate his collar. Her eyes tell me she's serious. She really intends to kill Doleful here and now. Normally, I would have stopped her immediately, but right now I can't find the courage. Yeah, just go for it. That's what he's thinking. The Quartering Duke's existence is an even greater atrocity than I realized. I'm keenly aware of the societal rot he's caused. I don't think killing's acceptable. It is very accessible, as we've discovered. I don't think killing's acceptable, but in this case... At that moment, my vision flickers. Next thing I see is Gourmet collapsed and covered in blood. And there stands Doleful without so much as a scratch. It's pointless, Gourmet. Even if you die, it won't make a difference. Huh? What are you saying? It's just like Doleful said earlier. Even if you sacrifice yourself to detonate the collar, you still won't be able to kill him. I'm guessing the collar will misfire. I was able to simulate that outcome. Misfire? That's impossible. The collars may be a little old, but what are the odds he'd get the only defective one?
Just when I thought I'd finally find my release. Such a shame, Gourmet. But a competent is right. Even if you die, my collar won't explode. I'll survive, and your death will be meaningless. You get it now, right? I won't die. I can't. I'm not allowed to. This is who I am.
Then I'll stab you myself, even if it costs my life. Gourmet readies her knife. Her hand trembles ever so slightly.
You're shaking, you know. You weren't able to act on your do-or-die resolve. That's a blow to your pride, I bet. Why are you so set on this anyway? You really think becoming some kind of martyr will mean a thing for society?
Of course it would. Stopping you here means fewer casualties who have to endure what I have or worse. That's why. That's why.
That's why you're gonna make a casualty of yourself?
Hmm?
The world is full of people like you, Gourmet. Folks who care too much about society at large. The most important thing is yourself. But you're out here thinking of others you can't even name. That's why this modern world needs the Quartering Duke, now more than ever. Consider why there have been over 100 victims.
You mean why the death toll has climbed so high? I've been wondering how the Duke was able to find so many obedient pairs willing to kill each other. Then, as if sensing my confusion, Doleful shoots me a grin and continues his speech.
The victims were the ones who contacted the Quartering Duke in the first place. All of them were people desperately wishing to die.
That can't be true. Or that can't be. Added a word there. Contacting the Duke just to die? That's absurd. How could they get in touch with him without leaving any traces?
It's not that hard. If the Duke were a detective, he'd just have to build an affinity with these death seekers wherever he gets deployed. And with a gal like Downtown and all her followers online, it'd be simple to create an invisible network with the Duke at its center. He's the fine thread linking all of the victims. He doesn't even need to meet them in person, so you wouldn't be able to ferret anything out. Ferret anything out? I've never heard that term or phrase.
I don't know. I think I have, but...
I have not. Interesting.
How could someone be so intent on dying that they'd reach out to him like that?
Is it really so enigmatic? It seems pretty sensical to me. Like I said, when people want to die, they end up thinking about the impact. They worry about causing others trouble or leaving family behind. Our lives should be our own, yet their thoughts are poisoned by the by the rampant totalitarianism in this world, and they end up paralyzed. But what about the victims of the Quartering Duke incidents? Has anyone ever blamed them as opposed to the Duke himself?
Thinking back on it, I've seen comments from the Duke's followers praising him, but never anyone who derided the ones who died.
Not a soul, right? Of course not. The only people who'd mock the poor, hapless target of an unjust murder are those who live to put others down. Get it now? If they were killed by the Duke, no one would blame them. People all over would sympathize with their untimely end. Quartering Duke is a free pass to death. 100 victims attest to the vast number of people yearning to escape modern society. The Duke doesn't kill. He simply offers salvation to those who suffer in life.
Everyone falls silent, at a loss for words of the reality of this case. Doleful's argument is a strong one. No one speaks up to counter him. We've gone through so much together, and now we understand just how much pain his ability has caused him. For some, life is such agony that death would be a salvation, and the Quartering Duke is a free pass to get there. In the face of this unspeakable truth, someone as ordinary as me couldn't possibly muster a reply.
Hey, incompetent. You're always going on about reversing tragedies and all that, yeah? Why don't you try to turn this one around too? Though, I doubt you'd be able to do that for over 100 people, no matter how hard you try.
Doleful, no, the Quartering Duke erupts into raucous laughter. I clench my fists and stand there uselessly, unable to do a thing. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. Maybe becoming a great detective really is beyond my capacity. This is... I realize I'm on a familiar street. It's the town that I call home. I lived a normal life in this average, peaceful place. Back then, I didn't know the truth about what had happened 10 years ago. Even though it's only been a week, I can't help but feel a strong sense of nostalgia. Huh? I see a familiar boy pass by. It's me? But his complexion is sickly, and his gait is unsteady. He looks like he could keel over at any second. Hey, are you alright? I can't stop myself from calling out. Even his voice is identical to mine, but he doesn't seem fazed as he responds to me. What's up? I'm gonna be late to cram school, so if it's not important, I'm gonna keep going. Oh, sorry, your face looked a bit pale, so I was worried. You were worried? So what? The next moment, the face of my lookalike turns angry, and he begins shouting, his tone growing hoarse. Are you gonna help? You gonna study for me? Raise my grades even though they never go up? No matter what, get me into my dream school? Everyone's always asking if I'm alright, but do they ever do anything about it? No, I'm not alright, but no one ever tried to help me. Yeah, the only one who could save me now is the Quartering Duke, so I'm over it. I'm not alright. I'm just done. Huh? Wait. The version of me consumed by his academics starts off somewhere. But then another me appears. Again, when I try to speak to him. You're gonna take over my job for me? How would you even help? By giving me money, raising my family, ridding me of all my anxieties for the future? You can't save me, then don't you dare tell me how I have to live. I just want life to be easier. In the end, living won't ever make me happy. I stand there, berated by my own self. It's nothing. Living just doesn't interest me. Must be nice having stuff you enjoy. I'm jealous. But what about my dull existence? Why is your life so fun, huh? Another version of myself confronts me, exasperated. If you're gonna sweep it all under the rug, then help me. Take on the debts my parents left me. Why me? Why does this only happen to me? And another, sobbing in frustration. As my awareness fades, my various selves continue to cry out at me, lamenting their lots in life. I'm not any of these people, actually, so I don't really know where all this is coming from. Soon my vision and the entire expanse of my mind turn pure white. I remain still in an empty void, enveloped by a slight floating sensation. I see. I finally understand now. The people I'm seeing, they're the sort who would cling to a figure like the Quartering Duke, the ones who will give up their lives in the future. There was certainly nothing remarkable about them, and in truth, this world is full of individuals like that. Sure enough, life isn't always fun and games. In fact, it's full of constant challenges. There's no guarantee I wouldn't have ended up as one of those versions of me, not if I hadn't been summoned to morgue and reunited with Saika. If it's like Doleful says, well, we truly inhabit a world where anyone might call upon the Duke, maybe we're in the wrong for trying to expose his crimes after all. Maybe detectives who reveal unpleasant realities aren't necessary. Maybe it's preferable to tell a palatable lie. Maybe dying is easier than living. Maybe I should just give up. I feel my resolve crumble as I second guess my ability to continue following in Saika's footsteps. I've walked the path of detective for so long, yet I've lost the road ahead of me. With my willpower gone, I feel weariness take over. Forget it. I should just leave things as they are. It would be so easy. I noticed something fall from my pocket. What's this? Picking it up, I realized it's a Hanafuda deck. As I examine the cards decorated in cherry blossoms, my vision flickers.
Oh my god. What the my chest. Uh, Sorry, sis. I
Rowdy? I think I hear Rowdy's devastated voice. A burning pain lingers within me, as if I've been pierced through the chest. This scene, it... Was he saying everyone's, like, final moments now? Huh. So this is how it feels to get poisoned. Feels like my brain's gonna melt. This sucks major ass. Mystic, Bookworm, and everyone else. Sorry I got you all caught up in this. Competent. Dude, you better not lose to Doleful. I want you finally figured it out. When you're dying, you, like, really think about all the stuff you wish you could have done. Downtown. I'm struck by a sudden chill, as though my mind is dissolving. It hurts, I'm dizzy, nauseous. Unable to stay on my feet, I topple over. Tears stream freely from my eyes. But it isn't because I'm in pain, it's because I've finally grasped the purpose of this vision. The denouement is showing me the past, the final memories of the detectives who perished here on Morgue.
using a trap. How inhumane. But I shall not fall so easily. I cannot leave Bookie all on her own. I must live. Sorry to go on ahead without the rest of you. Guess demons are demons right until the end. But either way, my love for you is real. You probably won't ever know it, but here in my final moments, my thoughts are with you all. So forget about your papa and live a happy life. You'll always be in my heart. Goodbye.
Hey, are we seriously gonna do this? There's still time to back out, you know. Ooh.
It was me, right?
It was you.
-1 point. The moment is here at last, and you're hesitating, downtown detective. We've already taken 22 lives. Far be it from us to cling pathetically to our lives at this point.
So, why'd you bring some random kid to the island then? I won't tattle on you to the Duke or anything, but it's like totally against the rules, right?
I'm not sure myself. Until now, I've always lived with the feeling that I'd miss my chance to die. Perhaps it's thanks to my encounter with that promising lad that I got the idea. And trust him with a fulfilling life that I was never able to lead myself.
What is all this? Memory after memory plays in my head. Everyone has different thoughts as they die, but all of them think about living right until the bitter end. Not one of them was truly hoping for death. Instead of, it's be, oh yes, that's you.
No. It's been too long since I've heard you call me by that name. I was prepared to die from the moment I arrived on Morg. After all, in a way, I already had when you took on my fate 10 years ago.
Man, you really play a lot of dead characters in this.
Yeah, seriously, what the fuck? Even so, people's hearts are insatiable. I swore I was prepared, but as I lay dying, my earthly attachments yet lingered. Watto, knowing you, I've little doubt that you'll once again endeavor to step in my shoes and continue onward as ideal detective. I'm afraid I've been entirely selfish, from beginning to end. So until you can accept the title of ideal detective as your own, won't you allow me to stay by your side? I kind of like that they're showing the, thoughts and perspective of, you know, the
Yeah,
the dead people.
yeah, for sure. The floating sensation that had consumed me soon disappears, and I finally feel my feet firmly planted on the ground. Amidst the blinding whiteness, familiar figures loom just ahead. Everyone. The detectives who have since passed now appear before me. This
Except
can't
Renegade, because he
except
sucks.
Renegade. I was thinking that because, like, okay, yeah, four out of these five characters, you played four of them. And it's like, well, okay, well, I had Renegade, and he's not even here.
He sucks.
Yes, this can't be real. This must be a vision created by the denouement, or maybe they're all delusions born from my mind. It's
At
like,
last, you've grasped your true power. I previously explained how the core essence of the denouement isn't predicting future deaths, but seeing all the world has to show, yes?
and then, as if addressing my doubt, Psycha materializes before me.
Right now, you're witnessing their residual thoughts, but your connection to them was weaker, so I doubt you will be able to interact. Tell me, do you know what they all regret?
What they regret. I look again, but their faces have gone dark. What worldly repentance could they long for? I have no idea. What do they regret?
They didn't go to the women's bathroom like I told them to.
Damn.
I have no idea either.
Like, I don't regret that wasn't a good decision to go. I'm glad I didn't. What's that supposed to mean?
Normally, there's no way to know what regrets the dead may have. The quartering duke has simply assumed he's brought them salvation. However, you have the ability to perceive much more. In time, you'll even be able to understand that which the departed think and feel. Until that time comes, think long and hard. Consider if dying truly is the correct choice for them.
At first, I really felt the Duke had a point with his idea of salvation. But after encountering so many different visions of death through the denouement, I believe the quartering Duke is actually mistaken. Dying won't make things easier, nor will it bring deliverance to anybody.
Insensibly, one begins to twist facts to suit theories, instead of theories to suit facts.
Wise words from Sherlock himself.
You mustn't let the sophistry fool you, Watto, do you believe those who died by the Duke's hand truly wished for such a salvation? Use your mind to challenge these ideas. This is a duel against the Duke himself.
Thanks, Saika. They should all be dead, yet here they are, looking at me with happiness on their faces. I don't know what their smiles are supposed to mean. How am I supposed to understand what the dead are feeling? But whatever the case, I want to believe that they've placed their hopes in me. Don't worry, I'll handle those regrets of yours. Seeing this here and now is all I needed. When I think about how I'm taking on the hopes and dreams of those who've passed, I feel as if a ray of light is shining upon me. I feel as if I've realized the full truth behind the case of the Quartering Duke. Hey, where's Renegade?
So imagine, like, he's just literally zoning out for those 10 minutes. Everybody's just like, I'm like, hey, Competent, are you okay, buddy?
Well, it's like, yeah, it's like the same thing with like all the Danganronpa trials. Whenever you're doing one of those mini games, you just like imagine it's like, hey Hajime, what are you cool there? Or you just like, busy. I'm skateboarding. Yeah. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I'm just waveboarding on a on an interstellar plane. Just
I'm
making
driving the
choices.
taxi.
Oh my goodness.
My consciousness comes back to reality. I wipe the tears that have spilled from my eyes and face the Duke once more. I'm not going to hesitate anymore. Even if the reality is a tragic one, there's only one thing a detective can do in a situation like this. Quartering Duke, your methods are all wrong. These incidents don't bring salvation. They're undeniable murders. I swear on my pride as a detective, I will bring you to justice.
Here, I thought you had zoned out. Now you're babbling all this nonsense. Someone hasn't gotten enough sleep.
But boy, that did take like maybe 20 minutes. You were out for a while.
Yeah,
Everyone else is dead.
Look, there's still drool coming out your mouth.
I got plenty of sleep just now.
You want to bring me to justice? Does that mean you're set on painting all those victims as perpetrators now? You lucky duck, you. At least you got to live a relatively happy life beforehand. So you ready to be hated and despised by untold masses?
Ready as I'll ever be. Bookworm steps in front of the Quartering Duke and begins to speak. Obviously, the truth isn't always a happy one. When I learned how my father had died, I felt like my heart had been torn to shreds. But now I'm glad I know the facts, because as long as I refuse to come to terms with them, I would never be able to move forward.
You're a tough one, Bookworm. I'm almost jealous. You're the pinnacle of fortitude, and I really look up to that. But not everyone can be as strong as you. If you reveal the truth, I'm certain that even greater tragedy will spawn from it.
True, a sweet lie may be easier to stomach than the bitter truth. It only makes sense to do what will save you, regardless of what the world says. But victims of the Quartering Duke aren't being saved, they're just being murdered. Plain and simple.
Murdered? And by whom exactly? They're simply entrusting their lives to the Quartering Duke's free pass.
Don't try to brush it off by calling it a free pass. You do charge a little, right? Say what you will, even if it was suicide, that doesn't change the fact that people involved in the Quartering Duke incidents were killed.
What? But it's because they chose to die of their own free will that the body count is now over 100. And all without a shred of evidence. I won't repeat myself again. Even if the Duke never contacted them, their spirits were already dead. Living on would only make them suffer more.
You're wrong. All you did was convince them that dying was their only option. They feel so cornered that it narrows their outlook, but the truth is they're desperate to find an alternative to death.
The problem is they can't see any. Don't assume everybody can pave a new path through hard work alone. Some are too burnt out to make the effort.
But they can still put in the effort to die? Who are you to decide they're at their limit? That no other options exist? Didn't you say there was no connection between the Duke and his victims? You're just projecting, seeing their deaths the way you want to see them. How could you possibly know they had no other choice?
Well, what do we have here? You can't make a fair argument, so you're muddling the narrative with trick questions. But it's true, I can't say if dying in a quartering Duke incident really makes them happy. But you can't know if living would make them better off. At least the Duke's victims decide for themselves that dying will bring them joy. What reason could anyone have to dispute their actions?
Coming to that conclusion is the real crime.
Their conclusion is a crime?
In the research facility, a workaholic asked me if I would rather sacrifice myself to rescue someone else or forsake them to save myself.
The plank of Carneades. Workaholic's actions prove chose the option to sacrifice himself. So, what about you, incompetent? Maybe you'd sacrifice yourself to rescue another? Just like him, you're always worrying about other people?
No, I wouldn't.
Now there's a surprise. So you're the type who thinks they can save even more lives by surviving, huh?
Wrong again. Actually, I wouldn't choose either option. You see, I've realized the flaw in this question.
I was wondering what you were about to say, but then you go and spoil the fun. Let me guess. You try to find a way to save everyone? When push comes to shove, naive sentiments like that won't help anybody. Don't forget detectives exist to reveal the truth.
I'm aware. That's why I don't want to talk about saving people in hypotheticals. The plank of Carneades and the quartering Duke share the same failing. Both force a choice between one of two options.
You seriously think they're anything alike? Don't slander the quartering Duke with your fallacies. He's a savior, mercifully ending lives that will never attain earthly salvation.
There's no difference. From the outset, you forced others to choose between a miserable existence or an easy death. But that isn't reality. By choosing to die, it's all over. But choosing to live may eventually lead to something better. Unless someone opts for death, their future prospects are infinite.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Only those who win the lottery of life will ever get those opportunities. Anyone born without that luck is doomed. There's no question. For them, death will only make things better. I can't die. That's why I understand. I truly understand the people of this nation who wish to ease the burden of life by dying. Didn't I just tell you? Over 100 people volunteered themselves to the Duke. There's your clear-cut answer. All of them opened their eyes. They each realized that the ease and comfort of death would make them so much happier.
Making things easier and finding happiness aren't the same thing. Workaholic got frustrated when he asked me about the plank too. He told me I should stop idealizing things by trying to save everybody. But that's what bugged me about it. In real life, it's never a simple choice between two options. It's always more complex than that. Even still, you're pushed to go one way or the other. The possibility is seriously reduced. Anyone would pick the path of least resistance. The trolley problem presents a similar issue. By throwing one person onto the rails, you can save 5 lives, but apparently over 80% of respondents say they wouldn't do it. And only 30% of them can affirm their choice. When faced with 2 unfavorable options, people inevitably gravitate to the easier one. It's one thing if you're strong like Rowdy, but you can't expect everybody to hold that much conviction in their decisions. Yeah, I agree completely. Especially when you're at a low point, your perspective can become warped and restricted. During our time here on Morgue, I often found myself wrestling with these thoughts alone. I couldn't have solved a single case on my own. The Duke offers only 2 options: live and suffer or die in comfort. In that sense, his method is no different. Dying to make things easier isn't the only way. Even if it's hard, even if you're struggling, you might still get a chance to choose a happy life.
And what if I don't? What if you don't?
There you go.
I also thought I could be saved if I didn't give up. Everyone who died probably felt the same. The way all children believe babies come from storks. They don't?
Oh. This is an interesting way to break the news.
And yet, everyone gets brought back to reality at some point. They realize deliverance doesn't exist, that their very life is a tragedy. Could you have saved them? You think one detective could have done anything to help? You couldn't rescue anyone. You have no right to criticize the Duke. What's so wrong about seeking salvation through death?
Everything. After all, you said so yourself. What people truly yearn for isn't death. It's salvation itself, right? For the first time, the quartering Duke is at a loss for words. Without hesitation, I speak my thoughts to hammer my point home. Settling for death is just a compromise. If they truly want salvation, surely there must be some other way of finding it. You bemoaned totalitarianism, but is dying without rocking the boat any different? Why should they even care if they're only thinking of themselves?
Huh? No, you've got it wrong. I just wanted to make a world where there's hope of salvation for anyone and everyone. A grand liberation for those who don't want to cause problems for others.
It's better to live and cause problems than to die without causing any. Even if it inconveniences others or the whole world, living is still your top priority, isn't it? That's when you start looking for salvation. Finding it by dying with a whimper is a tragic demise, and I refuse to accept it. You've created countless tragedies, but I'm going to turn them around myself.
Don't you realize how arrogant you sound? There's some who can't reach the finish line alone, who can't see any salvation. That's why the Duke is needed, to usher them into a comfortable end. Or would you rather force them to continue dancing pathetically as their tragedy plays out, detective? You're the crueler one by far.
Yep, I am.
What?
Hate me, call me cruel, it's fine. Either way, I won't be pulling anyone off the stage, no matter how tragic it is. Once you die, the show's over, but stay alive and any tragedy can be reversed. Keep the curtain up and there's always a chance to turn things around.
Yeah, maybe for someone with talent.
You knew from the start how incompetent I was. If I hadn't come to this island, I'd probably have stayed my same bumbling self forever, unable to do a thing. Maybe I would have given up on making an effort and offered myself to the Duke, just to make things easier. But instead, I met everyone here, learned and got stronger. No matter who you are, you may get an opportunity to turn things around.
Or maybe you won't.
But it isn't a 0% chance. Dying will make it impossible for sure. Death robs you of your future and all its possibilities. That isn't a sacrilege upon anyone other than yourself. Everyone views themselves as the protagonist of their tragedy, but even as they brood and suffer, they're still fighting to turn the tide. I won't let someone like you rob them of their will to resist. No one is getting eliminated. I'll take Ideal's place and vow to reveal the truth.
Incompetent detective? I promise you'll be sorry about this. You won't be lauded as some big hero. You'll be cursed as a fiend who dragged the names of countless people through the mud. An egotistical fool blinded by his own morals.
I am prepared for that. Pretty fitting for a guy called Incompetent Detective, isn't it? Even if no one agrees. Even if I don't have a single ally, I'll...
Go assuming such things without consulting your superior first. Do you truly intend to accept this undertaking all by yourself? Incompetent, as your chief, I shall bear the blame alongside you. Let us indict the Duke, for the sake of all those we've lost.
Bosh. I too shall share in your burden, good sir. At times one can indeed find succor in oblivion, but as one who has both brushed with death and failed to save those dear to me, I've this to say. No matter the reason, one mustn't flee from their mortal coil. By hook or by crook, I, armored detective, shall protect you, sir Incompetent. Making up her mind, the girl steps forward, but this is no time to be speaking in third person, is it? My father, Down Detective, all those we've lost on this island desperately tried to live, and I know for certain that other people are the same. Regardless of its ugly cruelty, I too refuse to avert my gaze from the world. I'll survive along with you, strongly, earnestly, and desperately. As Renegade said, I unwittingly took advantage of my circumstances. Assuming others would protect me, I saw myself as a tragic hero. But after all I've experienced here on Morgue, I've realized something. Facing yourself is the most important thing you can do. Sir Quartering Duke? No, Doleful. You should face yourself properly too. Don't sugarcoat things with lofty words. Acknowledge the lives you've taken. I was also prepared to give my life for the sake of the world, but you know, Incompetent, Doleful's words helped me realize something. First and foremost, being a part of this world isn't for others, it's for yourself. So I'll do my part by bringing you in, Doleful. Not for the sake of the world or anything, because the way you live ticks me off. The morning sun pierces through a world shrouded in the darkness of night. Its rays shine on those gathered around me, casting long shadows upon the ground. Thank you, all of you, for shouldering this responsibility with me.
Are you insane? What are you thinking? Won't the DA stop you? You guys don't have a single ally on the planet. So why are you so committed?
Because that's a detective's duty. They're always needed in the wake of any tragedy. It's our job to face the challenges that no one else can. Even if the whole world shields its eyes, detectives must still face reality. That's why we'll say it as many times as it takes. The culprit of the Quartering Duke case is you, Doleful Detective. Everyone faces Doleful, the Quartering Duke, directly. No one's flinching. No one's looking away. Just as the Duke says, it's hard to tout our efforts to reveal the truth as justice. But no matter how many names get dragged through the mud, no matter who criticizes us, no matter what hardship we may face, we will reverse this tragedy, firmly believing that once we do, the brightest future awaits us.
I almost forgot.
Is there something else? The quartering Duke chortles on as he raises his knife.
I planted a bomb on the island, and now you all have 5 minutes before it explodes.
Oh, shit.
It'll be a very long 5 minutes. Corner me all you want. I'm still invincible. There's no way I can die.
Yeah, we weren't gonna kill you. We were gonna bring you in.
The SPX attacks now. I'm sure someone as dutiful as I detective will come take the hit for me.
Quartering Duke slashes his wrist, spraying his blood every which way. In an instant, that dreadful mechanical whirring erupts from close by. Reacting to the Quartering Duke's blood, the black SPX springs to life. Not good. If this keeps up, he's going to be killed. Oh, we have a thing? Okay. Is there any sense in saving a maniacal killer? Either way, there's no time for internal debates. I jump in front of the Quartering Duke, guarding him with my body.
It's just like when Ideal Detective died. You acted on the spur of the moment, didn't you? Pitiable. You ought to die with regret for your decisions.
I'm not regretting a thing, because I'm committed to keeping you alive no matter what. As the Quartering Duke's words reach my ears, my vision goes white. Armor? Just as I'm about to be attacked, Armor leaps forward to shield me. Lackaday, first Psycha and now you, my good sir. All my beloved sally forth without me. Evidently I must needs become swifter and mightier. You're always looking out for me. Thank you. 'Tis not I alone. Nice, it detonated. Good call having Gourmet remove our collars. There's more where that came from, so get ready, guys. I'll buy us time. Everyone get off the helipad right now. Everyone moves away from the black SPX at Techi's command. You must have a strategy in mind. I follow after the others without a question. All according to plan, said the girl, pressing the button to lower the helipad. Before I can grasp the situation, Bookworm dashes to the control panel and operates it, causing the platform to descend with the SPX still on top. When did you come up with all this? On the fly, thanks to you, our group has become a lot more cohesive, the girl said, a content smile upon her face.
We did this while you were just spacing out and drooling.
Yeah,
It was
actually,
a very
it was a
long
long time. We had
we ordered pizza.
yeah, we had a pizza.
Party.
We all had some. Yeah, it was good. Yeah, Doleful, you want to show us that party trick you were doing?
Hold it right there.
I hear a voice call out from behind.
I knew you'd look for an opportunity to flee, but you cannot escape my keen eye. Out of my way. I'm still armed, remember? Really? Think a woman like you can do a thing to me? Tisk tisk. How unbecoming of you to underestimate my prowess.
It's time. It's time. She's gonna do something.
It's not gonna turn out good. What? Or, like last time, what?
Yes. Posh catches the Quartering Duke in the collarbone with a knife hand strike. Unable to react, the Duke topples over from the sudden assault.
Behold the Pinkerton family trump card, buried Sue. At last, it gets its moment to shine. You still don't have any conclusive evidence. You won't be able to keep me behind bars. You'll never reveal the truth of this case to the world.
I wouldn't be so sure about that. Gourmet stands before the quartering duke and produces a slip of paper from her pocket that reads, "This button may cause death." Do you remember this? I wonder. It was stuck to the elevator panel when Renegade died. You were worried about this little note, so you pushed the button, right?
What are you getting at?
Ignoring a warning which resulted in death. That's a potential involuntary manslaughter charge. We'll have to find out just how involuntary it was. There's a reason to believe you intentionally caused a fatality. I'll be sure to really dig in and see what I discover about this and your other offenses.
What right do you have?
The same rights as any FBI operative, of course. In addition to my role as the DA, I'm also one of their active agents.
What?
What?
I'm part of the FBI. In fact, I'm the president.
Me and the others are just as shocked. The news did say the FBI had joined the investigation, but to think Gourmet was with them. My mission was to secure the individual known as Invincible Detective. I hid my identity all this time for the sake of my duty. It has finally paid off. You blabbed away of your own accord, revealing the whole enchilada. It's left me no option but to assert that you were the cause of Renegade's death. You completely fell for his trap.
That bastard! Even at the very end, he
literally put that sign there to bait someone out. Damn. You're under arrest, Quartering Duke. We'll get the full story out of you back at the station. That's the line I'm supposed to say here, right? Handcuffs click as the Duke's wrists are bound. Robbed of his freedom and the will to resist, he plants his face in the grass and lies motionless. I get the sense we finally brought this long twisting case to a close. We all look toward the bright light of dawn. In the distance I hear a steam whistle. The DA's rescue ship has finally arrived.
They certainly dragged their feet.
Or maybe they're actually right on time. We've just apprehended the Quartering Duke after all. I'm famished, the girl said, clutching her stomach as she sank to the floor. Seems the boat'll take a bit. How about I fix us up some breakfast? We can think of it as a little victory banquet. A wondrous proposal. Sir Incompetent, let us make haste to the research facility. Yeah, come on, Doleful, let's go together. After all, we're going to be spending a lot of time with each other from here on out. The Duke, no Doleful's head hangs low. I have her shoulder, but stumble when he puts his full weight on me, his leaden body drained of all strength. But I keep on taking one step after another, supporting him all the while. Who knows what the future has in store? There's no doubt that a tragedy unlike any we've seen before lies in our fate. But even so, there's no way I'll stop walking forward. For the lives of those I called my allies, for those who died by the Duke's hand, and for her, the one who supported me until the very end, I resolve to shoulder all of these lives as I continue living. Goodbye, Saika. I whisper quietly to myself. As I do, I feel a fond and familiar presence from behind, warm as the morning sun.
Thank you, Watto.
There we go. It's like, these are the credits, right? Like, the text is going to start coming up, right?
Yeah, I'm assuming. Like, I was either thinking it'd either be text or, like, it show, like, some of the,
images or whatever, yeah. But, yeah, so anyway.
Maybe a sprite or two of characters talking or something like that.
Yeah. But, yeah, so, that was Process of Elimination.
Definitely interesting. It was Definitely not what I expected there at the end. Like, that kind of threw me for a loop that it was doleful. I mean, towards the
Yeah.
end, like as he was just kind of like blatantly saying who it was without saying who it was, it's like, oh yeah. But
Yeah, right at the end, it was just like, who was bleeding when this all happened? It's like, oh, okay. Is it awful? But yeah, for sure. Didn't expect that. Can I can't.
it's always the shy, quiet ones, man. Like they always say, right?
Okay, so we got another scene here. After receiving minor medical attention, we're all ushered onto a boat owned by the DA. Ornery Duke, formerly known as Awful Detective, is restrained on the same ship. No one said anything yet, but I'm sure I'm headed toward a clash with the leader of the DA, the Doc. After all, the truth of this case comes to light, the world will probably be thrown into an even greater chaos than the Dayless Night had caused. The Dayless Night organization, to which the Duke belonged, isn't my only enemy. I'm sure both the DA and the world at large will denounce me. But still, I won't hesitate. From the bottom of my heart, I've sworn to keep walking this path, for the sake of all my friends who've died as well.
Aren't you worried?
Aren't you dead? Sorry, what?
Make no mistake, I am dead. The thorny path ahead will make the events on Morg seem like a cakewalk in comparison.
But aren't you the one who forced me down that path in the first place?
I suppose you have a point there. But thanks to that, I now feel enough guilt to appear by your side once more. Pride in your determination, Watto.
Yeah, I will. In a way, I'm glad, Saika. I don't know if the Saika before me is just an illusion, but the truth doesn't matter. From now on, I'm going to live for both of us. Together, we can shoulder the role of ideal detective. That's one thing I know for certain.
And then the DA sees he's talking to himself. They put him into an insane asylum.
Yeah.
Just what are you pondering so deeply? Real trial is yet to come, Chief.
Let's hold a strategy meeting. We're still facing a huge number of challenges ahead. Bosch and Techie's summons bring me to my feet. There's no time to rest. We need to figure out how we intend to close the Quartering Duke case. First order of business is already decided. Our plan to outwit the DA going forward needs a concise name. Detectives are vital in the wake of tragedies. In other words, if the world was purged of tragedy, there would be no use for detectives. If we could create such a reality, there's no question it would be a truly peaceful world. That's why we purposefully decide on this designation for our future efforts. The Detective Elimination Project. There we go. That's it.
All right.
We finished process of elimination. And by that, I mean we're almost done. Because, while we did finish the game, now that we've beaten the game, there are more of those residual thought scenes that we can go grab.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we'll do that next.